Welcome back to the Bootroom Podcast. Oliver Moore is alongside me. Welcome, Oliver.
Thank you for having me on, Jamie.
No worries. And of course, Bobby Joe Taylor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on, Jamie.
No worries. So do you want to start us off then with your early days? Oliver's a Chelsea fan, and actually our camera guys who aren't quite here today, they're Chelsea fans as well. So to grow up in this environment at Chelsea, what was it like?
Yeah, a bit surreal, to be fair. Like, it's just like every kid's dream, really, isn't it? Being at a top facility, top club, top academy. I'm actually a Chelsea fan myself as well. So, that was like a dream come true, really, in terms of starting the footballing journey. But yeah, it was. I was there from my early days, so I remember being there from about, I think it must have been under sevens. I got picked up quite quickly, and then I was there to under 14s. And then, as I said previously when we spoke before, me and Dad decided to sort of part ways because of filtering down further down the pitch, becoming more defensive more than offensive. So, but yeah, as I said, it's nice to be able to have said that I've been a part of that and experienced that side of the game, with all the facilities they've got there, the coaches, everything, all the technical stuff that we got, how well we got looked after. It was effectively like full time as a kid. Do you know what I mean? So the demand was a lot, but yeah, I mean, not many people can say they did that. Obviously, it's always a situation where you want the outcome to be better than what it was, but not everyone even gets that opportunity. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. It's a great club. I love it. I still go now to watch games. So yeah, real nice.
Did you ever find it hard to kind of balance your academic side with like playing for the Chelsea academy? Because like you said, the demand was high. Was it ever difficult? Was you more focused?
I'll be completely honest with you, mate. I am useless. I've never ever really focused on any academic. I grew up all the time playing football from a young age, and I just convinced myself. Like, I just said all the time. I said, look, I'm going to be a football player. Like, that is all I know. Like, there's nothing more. And that commitment, it was just just full steam ahead. Like, just concentrate football. Everything was back garden, play football, play football, play football. Dad was with me all the time. Play football, play football, play football. Academically, obviously, that was the side, but I was more distracted. Really, I'll be honest with you. I'm not really an academical person, and my grades would tell you that GCSE results. I only probably got many passes. That was about it. So, yeah, no. If I'm being completely transparent, I was not interested in the academical side at all. Really, everything was just about football for me. Live and breathe football. Just watch football, play football. Wherever I could, even if I was watching Sunday League when people played, that was it. Just take the ball with me.
Did you always have the aspiration to be a professional footballer?
Always.
Really?
Always. There was nothing else. Like I didn't think about anything else other than football. I didn't have a backup. And that was, I know we talk about it, but while we're on that later down the line, even when I was a scholar, when I did a scholar at Cambridge, and you have to do a education side, like we did 2 hours on a Monday, Wednesday was 3 hours, Friday was 4 hours, and we trained every day. Even then, I was in the room and was doing our stuff at the ground, and I did not have any interest in it whatsoever. I was just like, do you know what? I know I'm gonna become a pro, whether that's here, somewhere else, or further down the line. That was it for me.
Who was kind of the footballers when you was watching the TV younger that you kind of like you watched their game and you kind of made it onto your one? Who was the footballers that inspired you from a young age?
Oh, good question. I was to be fair, I'm a big fan of a lot of players, like when I grew up. But my biggest aspiration as a young player, believe it or not, and he's not a Chelsea player, was Steven Gerrard, the midfielder. I loved watching him play. I thought he was some player, combative midfield, up and down, scored screamers. Whenever his goals he scored were screamers. Alongside watching, Lamps as well, being a Chelsea fan,
yeah,
he was,
definitely.
Them two. Were good with goals. But it was the era of watching those days. There were some serious players that I got to see. I used to love watching loads of players. It wasn't really so much the Chelsea players, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'm a football man. So I'm not one of them hooligans just like go to the game and I'm standing there looking at the away fans just screaming abuse all game. I'm watching the game. And if we played Liverpool this season, and this season so far we were unbelievable against them in the press. But if it was the other way round, I'd be saying, good today. Do you know what I mean? So Steven Gerrard was big for me. I used to love watching players like Deco, Guti, people like that. When you're talking about the European teams as well, some of the giants, some good players. But yeah, for me, the biggest one for me has definitely got to be Gerrard. I loved him. I thought he was quality.
Do you know what though? Everyone always has the digs at me that I'm a football fan as well. Like I said the other week, I had a soft spot for Everton, even though I'm a Liverpool fan. But it's because the style that Everton are playing this season have been pretty interesting to watch. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, mate. As I said, I watch all football. I go to Chelsea games. I obviously want us to win things and everything like that. But just watching football, that's all I ever do. Really, I don't watch normal TV. It's football, nothing. I'm more active than anything, coaching or whatever it is. I've always been like that. My missus gets the ump. I don't sit there and watch a documentary or like whatever she wants to do seasons. I'm like, nah, if it's not football, I'm not interested. But yeah, no, I'm the same as you. I watch and I'm like, just sort of analyse the game, learn, and see what I can use to what I'm trying to learn at the moment with coaching and styles of play and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I have to agree. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see, mate. To be fair, because Everton always been a club that is a big club and haven't really actually performed like a big club. So it's nice, it's refreshing, and obviously the competition's high in it, so it's good.
When you was at Chelsea Academy, did you ever pinch yourself and like come to a side and be like, wow, I've actually made it to such an elite academy?
So you know what, as a youngster, I think you get lost in the moment. To be fair, I just remember doing summer camps and stuff like that. That was like that's when you go, dude, this is unbelievable. You'd spend a week away. With all the other players at your age, and you get like, I just remember when we got breaks, they used to supply us with like, there was shed loads of. You remember the boxes of Lucasade powder that you'd had, and we used to get them for free, and I'd be scooping them up, trying to make them strong as anything, like proper like, yes, let's use these, and they'd be well strong. And we was there. Then when we had a games room, you got taken away out for meals, like you played football every day, tournaments, all that sort of stuff. It was like this is unbelievable. Like as a young kid, tours and things like that, like. It's crazy, and now it's evolved even more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
100%.
Like they're proper athletes now. It's fully full-time training. They have like S&C coaches. That's why they're proper like athletic players. And in all fairness, it's changed a lot in terms of them focusing on probably individuals more so now because that's just what they do. And they're athletic players. So but it's more living in the moment. And as far as I can remember, them youth days. I was actually looking back at some of my pictures, like weirdly, because it's my mum's birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, shout out my mumsy. I was going through like my daughter's group chat that we have, like loads of people chuck photos of my family, and I was going through our media to have a look at some photos that I've got of my mum with Toulouse and all stuff. And she'd thrown some photos in there when I was at Chelsea. And I had this bald head with a little flick at the front. And I'm keeping up a bottle of Lucasade, a Lucasade bottle. And I remember it, like froze me. That's what sort of gives you those memories. But yeah, I had a look. Like there was sometimes at the summer camp, it was just us in the Chelsea away at Watford. I remember that game as well. Crazy, to be fair. But yeah.
Do you know what? You know what really sticks out to me is obviously before you got released by Chelsea, footballers, we always get the opinion that, well, some footballers don't try as hard as they should and they don't put the work in. But later down the line, when you obviously get the professional contracts that you have had, seeing around you, do you ever feel like these professional footballers put in more work and more effort than perhaps what us fans see?
No, not necessarily. I think predominantly everyone will put the work in. I think there's a little bit of luck that goes into football, and there is some people that just are that little bit better. Like there's no denying that, you can see, but the work ethic that people put in is to try and get where they want to be is always there. If it's not, then quite quickly in clubs like that, you won't be there again after in the next year or whatever it is that they do now. It used to be every 2 years you'd have a deal from, up until whatever it was. But if you don't put the work in, that goes. You get seen straight away, and that's it. You'll be out the door. But everyone puts the work in. But there's always a few people that go in the favour. Like someone might be more athletic, quicker, powerful, 6 foot plus, etc., etc. And then there's obviously the odd few that you get that are real gems, and they are like real technical players that are just more intelligent. Like they've just got that little bit. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from. Some people are quicker, faster, and then some people are real clever. You look at like Cole Palmer now, like in this team, he's unbelievable, isn't he? Seeing those pictures and just knowing what he wants to do, and he's elegant, he glances. No, I wouldn't say that, I think everyone puts the work in, but there's a bit of luck that goes into that as well. And obviously, people are more advanced than some others, and some people are later than whatever else. But I wouldn't say anyone don't try. For sure, no way.
Obviously, Jamie said about you getting released. How does that sort of conversation go? Is it you going to talk to people ahead that are like ahead of the academy, or is it just like you get a phone call and say, "Oh, we need to talk to you"?
So I actually didn't get released from Chelsea. We decided to leave because of that situation of footballing further down the line. What would have happened at the end of that under-14 season, I don't know anyway. Maybe I might have been. But I'd been there for a long time, so they might have given me another 2 years. I genuinely don't know. But I have been released, and that was when I was at Gills and not getting the scholarship that I wanted at the time. And it's difficult because you always get told what you want to hear, basically. Well, so they think. Like, there is people that believe it. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid, and I know what it's like. I deal with that as well now, doing with the 19s, and always try and say you've got to be transparent, with people, and just you're better off just being honest and just saying, look, like, we don't think you're better than what we've got. But they'll always be like, you're not big enough, or you just didn't quite make it. We've got, there's always an element of some kind of excuse or something that they think you want to hear, when rather you're better off just being told you're just not good enough. And then you go, right, okay, that's a setback. And if you've got the mentality that's like, well, that's somebody I've got to prove wrong, you'll be fine. So yeah, I mean, I found it difficult because I genuinely thought I was going to get one, but I've always been mentally resilient, and I think that's something that's always gone in my favour. To be fair, I've the setbacks have never been an issue. It's like that's fine, it's all right. Somebody else I've got to prove wrong, and football is a game of opinions at the end of the day. Like, everyone, and I know it now because I've got an opinion of somebody that somebody else does. So. And so that doesn't mean that you're not good enough. Doesn't mean you're not good enough. It's just that's just not your time. And I've always been one to say you just got to trust the process, trust the journey. What you're on, and just keep working hard. That's it, really. And I'm lucky enough to be able to have an opportunity of being playing as a professional player. So yeah, it's not nice, but you've got to get on with it. That's football. It's a fickle world.
Gillingham was up next. Was that a relief that a club that you found maybe another home after leaving Chelsea?
Yeah, because it was close to home as well. Real close to home. Being from Ashford in Kent, Gillingham was only about 30 minutes away, as opposed to an hour and 10 down at Chelsea or wherever we went. So it was nice to be home. It's a home club. It's closest to us. The biggest club closest to us in Kent, pretty much. We know it is. So yeah, being there was nice. And obviously, just being local, people could come and watch me and all that sort of stuff, as we do. But and obviously, I knew people there, so that's what I thought I might have got. No, in all fairness, I did actually think I was good, but I did. I thought I was going to get someone there because I knew the under-18s manager, and I thought because we used to share cars we used to take Josh and Andy Hessenton, our son Jake. We used to take them to Chelsea sometimes in the car. So I was like, so I've already got that's fine. I'll just do all right and you'll get one. But no, it didn't work like that. But yeah, it was nice just to be closer to home. But that ended after 2 years as well. That was over quite quickly, to be fair. That went fast. That did.
And then you spent like 2 years there. How important was that to develop your playing career? Because I think that early exposure to like your lower league football kind of helps you as a footballer. What was it like being at Gillingham to like develop your game?
Yeah, again, there's always different styles of coaching from different coaches, so you're always learning something different. Because as I said, people will have their identity of how they want to play, how they want to do things. They'll have their way of developing players. Everyone's different. Chelsea will do it differently to what Gillingham do, and Chelsea are really good at self-awareness, so they'll make you decide and make you think. Gillingham will do it differently in their style of like whether they want you to play a certain way, whether there is nothing that you just let you play and you're a bit of a maverick. So you're learning all the time from different people, and there's always different opinions, and you just got to take it all in. And then I'm always I'm always an 80-20, so like take it all in, but 20% of the time I do what I want. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad, a bit of a maverick in football. Just play it as you see it. So. But it's always good. It's always good to learn from different people, and there's different coaches. Andy Hessenton, I played later on down the line after Gills for Dover. So, that's quite good. You always cross paths, and you never know who you're going to need in football. So, it's always good to just learn because you might not agree with something, but as I said, everyone's got a different style, so you just have to just sort of adapt to that.
You went to Cambridge after that, and you stayed there for quite some time, four and a bit years.
No, it was 4. I did a 2-year scholar, 2-year pro.
And what was it like to go on the scholarship there?
Yeah, I mean, that was that came around after the exit troll. So I know we spoke in the mind of, but I. What did you do?
No.
Well, it was that. Yeah, no, I've got another one.
Gonna shout out the other podcast.
So I actually had exit trials from being released at Gills, and from the exit trials in Loughborough, I got picked up. From the exit trials in Loughborough, what did I do from there? I got picked up from Cambridge after the exit trials, not from Loughborough. That was the English School Cup final. I got from the exit trials. I went to Rangers, had a trial there. They told me that I was good, but I wasn't better than what they already had, and that was a good experience. Stayed up there, and then Cambridge wanted to take me, so I went on a trial there, and I played one game. And I said this to you. I was unbelievable. To be fair, I've got to give myself credit. I had a really good game in centre mid. No, left mid. They put me left mid. I scored a left foot volley. 5 minutes later, a really good one. 5 minutes later, one with my right and hit the post. And afterwards, we had a chat in the pavilion, and Jez was talking for a little while. Jez George, who was the director at the time, and he was like going in and a conversation. I lost focus. My dad's listening, and then he's like, "So we want to offer you a scholar at Cambridge," like straight away off the bat. So I was like, it was a bit of a relief. It was quite nice. Finally, we've just got somewhere. But we didn't have to make a decision. So we said, thank you very much. We left there. It was on the way home. Looked like we were going to do it. And then that year we had the English School Cup final with my school football team, you know, and I said, like, shout out to them boys. We were unreal. My most enjoyable time playing with my schoolmates. We didn't lose a single home game from year 7 to year 11. We won the Ashford Cup every year for 5 years. We won the Kent Cup. And we made the English School Cup semi-final, and we lost on penalties. And I should have scored late on to take us through or squared it. Yeah, so, and it was a tough one because we deserved it, and then we lost on pens. And after that, we was all in a bit of tears, like, you know, a 16-year-old, like gutted. We've got all this way, like all the boys were all mates. We thought we could do it all. I think the final was played at Barnsley's home games also. Everyone would have been buzzing about that. And we all like tears, and then we all banter about it now because all my tears quickly went away because I had Stoke and Leicester scouts asked me to go on trial, and then it was like, right, okay, what do we do? What do we do here? We've got to make a decision. We either, because Cambridge wanted me to make a decision because obviously, you know, they were in the Blue Square Premier then at the time, Blue Square Bet Premier, that's what it was. And their programmes probably that they need to know who they're getting on board, etc. And they might have had something else, or if they didn't, they need to find someone else. But it wasn't under pressure. It was like, right, do we go on trial like we've been doing, take that risk, or do we just, you know, say, no, this looks like a really good setup. And Cambridge has got one of the top academies in the country. It's unreal. So we said, you know what, we're going to move away from home. You get to move away from home. Less distractions. Let's just go for Cambridge. Like, you know, your journey's going to be like, if you're going to make it anywhere, you're going to make it. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're at Leicester, Stoke, or whether you're, you know, at Cambridge United. That's where people go wrong, right? So we did that, and 4 years I spent there. Really good 4 years. Lovely city, lovely people, good fans. Did a two-year scholar program and got my pro 3 months early at 17, which was real nice. That's a big relief.
The money kicking in.
Yeah, and then you got paid as a scholar, but it wasn't massive amounts like what the Premier League ones do. They top them up. Do you know what I mean? It was part of the FA. And then obviously, that contract, no agent, done it all like just buzzing to get a contract. Didn't really care. It was like just so nice that I was training with the first team from 17, being in and around it, gaining that experience, and then them offering me the deal early, and then from then just sort of like kicked in there. So that was good. Great decision in the end, basically.
During your time at Cambridge, you had an FA Cup replay at Old Trafford. What was that kind of like as a learning experience? Because you had at the time you had Van Persie, Rooney, De Gea, and you sort of see those players on the TV. You're like, oh, I wish I could go. But you actually lived a dream and got to sit on the Old Trafford bench next to them.
Do you know what, mate? It was actually heartache because I remember being at that age. I've never had a cup run. I never had a FA Cup run like that. So it was so good. And I remember playing in the third round. I'm pretty sure we played in the third round against Mansfield. I think I got half an hour. Come on for 30 minutes. I'm sure I did. And I came on. Anyway, we won that round, and then the draw come out, and we got Man United at home, and that was like, oh my god! Like, I've played in the last round. I'm thinking like, this is deep. I might be in the squad and come on or whatever. And I didn't make the squad, so I was really gutted. But I know I'm young, and there was people come back from injury and all that sort of stuff. So it was like, oh, well, listen, it is what it is. There might be more opportunities. I didn't think of it like that, but I remember standing where our home dressing room is. Opposite was where the physio room was, and I was standing there, and you see Louis van Gaal walk down the tunnel going to the changing room. Because obviously you have to go all the way past to the away changing room at the Abbey in Cambridge. And then all of a sudden you see them all come, like one by one. And I remember, right, watching Antonio Valencia on the telly. Yeah, and he's a stocky, stocky lad, wasn't he? But when he turned up, he was massive. He was same size as me. But he was built, I talk about athleticism, he was massive. And then you're just seeing them all walk down and you're looking and Jesus Christ, I'm thinking, I am a little boy. I am a little boy. But then we got the draw, we got the replay, and then someone got injured and I made the squad. And I was so buzzing. I thought, you never know, might get on. Never know how the game goes. You're thinking, we had a chance, I think, Tom Elliott to take the lead early on. And that didn't happen, and we ended up losing 3-0. I'm pretty sure we lose 3-0. So I'm thinking, I might get on here, good opportunity to chuck a youngster on, bit of exposure for the club. And he didn't. Richard Money opted to go for someone a bit older, and that was his decision. So I was a bit gutted, but I was standing there warming up next to Matta and Rooney, and they were zinging balls, and it was 85,000 fans, because the way old Man United do it, you have to go, otherwise you don't get in and all that sort of stuff. So it was a full house. And I'm looking around. I remember I've got loads of pictures on my phone. I had the worst trim you've ever seen. I cannot believe, at that age, anybody let me go there. And at the time, I thought I looked amazing, $1 million.
The big occasion.
I've got a massive barnet, mate. The size is so long. I look like an earthworm. It's mental, but I'm there, just a real moment, and I'm lucky to be able to experience that full house here, but gutted obviously that I didn't get on the pitch.
Your Football League debut was against Carlisle, 5-0 win,
5-0 win,
and you played for about 10 minutes, right? 85th minute, so let's give additional time to that one as well. So for you to come on the pitch at that time in the win, 5-0 win, what was that like?
I remember they wouldn't, Jez wouldn't allow the media to interview me after, because they just didn't want me to have that pressure or anything like that, because I was so buzzing. Because I come on and I took a free kick and I whipped the ball in, and some say that it's Jaden Stockley's goal, some say it went all the way through and it's mine. Either way, goal or assist contribution, you can imagine. And just seeing 5,000 fans at the Abbey erupting, everything like that. As a youngster, I'm only 18 or 17, 18. And no, I was 18, I'm pretty sure I was 18 at the time. And I remember I had my shirt and my name and a number, and it was just this is unbelievable. Just playing, just playing in front of crowds, and taste of what it was like. That was what just made me want to keep going. So, but yeah, I think it's my goal. Jaden kept saying that he got a flick on it, but he didn't. But anyway, it didn't go down. It didn't go down as mine on on whatever it was, smash score. But anyways.
Another thing I just wanted to ask, when you go to the club and they say, oh, what's your number going to be? How do you come up with the number you want to wear for the rest of your career? Is it just, I'll just pick number 16 or number 17? Or is it the
16 that I selected because that's the day, the 16th of January is when my daughter was born. So 16 is, and I like 16, it's a nice number. But because of that reason, that's why I picked 16. Obviously, if one of the starting 11 numbers isn't available, I think anyone would tell you, unless it's superstition, you would probably pick 1 to 11. Like when I was at Dorking, I picked number 3. I was number 3 for 4 years, only because I was playing in that role, not that I wanted to. But if you get the opportunity, anyone will tell you you pick probably a number between 1 and 11, unless it's superstition. I don't care what anyone says. But other than that, 16 was the reason why, for the sake of my daughter Tallulah. So she was born on the 16th of January. So that's why I picked that one.
Maidstone was up next in 2015, and your career spans through a decent amount of clubs. So you obviously want to talk about all of them. But for you at that time, Maidstone were they were progressing, right? You were in the National League South and the playoffs were looming. So to be in that environment, in a really ultra-competitive environment, it's fair to say, what was that like to be competing in there?
Yeah, that was really good. That was probably a real highlight and sort of big kick up the backside when I signed for Maidstone, to be fair. So I'm quite grateful for that because I fell off it a little bit because you can imagine you go from the real highs, like 2 years, did the scholar, got a 2-year pro, decided to leave Cambridge because that was, I'll be transparent as I always am, financially what they tried to offer me wasn't fair considering, I'd played quite a few games in let's say 10 games 8 games in the Football League, FA Cup, Johnson Paints Trophy. I had appearances in them. I then had some in the National League. I was meant to be a young player that they had high hopes for, and they offered me 50 quid a week more than what I was from 18 to 20, and I'm going in to be a man at this point. At 21, it's like it's just not feasible. In fairness, not feasible. And Jez admitted that he regretted that they didn't just give me, because I tried to take off all the bonuses and just said, just as a basic wage, you need a bit more. I just couldn't do it. So it was like, right, me and Dad spoke about it. Somebody that obviously I've mentioned is a massive factor in my life in terms of our footballing decisions. I'll ultimately always make my own, but I'll always ask for his advice or his opinion because he's obviously carted me around everywhere from a young age. So, fair play to him. And we just said, let's just make the jump. Like, let's go and play football. Like, just play men's football. You're bound to find someone you played in the Football League. Someone will take the risk. You're still young. And it was like, that jump from doing all the full time to going to Maidstone to part time. Tuesday, Thursday nights. And it was like, right, okay, this is a bit different. They'd just been promoted from the Ryman Premier. So playing in the National League South, it was like, right, okay, going to play. And I fell into that trap. I started the season, pre-season was fine. And then as it went on, training Tuesday, Thursday nights, that's all I did. I didn't do anything extra. I got lazy with it. I was playing, but I wasn't playing very well. So then I come out the team. And it was like, right, okay. And I don't know what it was, it flipped in my mind. It was like, I need to change something. Otherwise, that's it. Your mentality, everything you work for is probably just going to go down and down and down. I'll end up just falling down a pyramid. So I got myself to the gym. I did extra. And then before you know it, I was back in the team with the last 12 games to go of the season. And we were flying. I don't know what it was. We were just so good. We just found a way to win. The atmosphere was good. The training was good. The fans at Maidstone, the Gallagher, are superb. They're one of the best. And we won in the player final. And obviously, I contributed to that and scoring the equaliser and then playing a part in the second goal for taking a penalty in the shootout. And that was some experience. That was unbelievable. Like, winning things like that, no matter what level you're at, is just what you play football. They're moments, you know what I mean? The moments of football. Winning things and celebrating and the fans loving what it all erupts and being behind and like similar to what Sutton have done, like being behind 50 seconds ago, you're still in the hat, like, and we're like, oh no, like, and we're so close, but it's like, no, it doesn't matter. But they're the moments that make you like, that's the buzz that you need, innit? That everyone just goes, this is class. So yeah, like that they helped me out massively, that club, in terms of from within myself. And then I spent 2 years. I was number 16 there actually as well. So, but yeah, no, they helped me out massively. And then I went on to went promoted to the National League, and I got to stay there for a season, and back to where I sort of had been playing, or where I'd started as a pro from my pro journey. So. Yeah, good club though, really good fan base. It was, and that's real close to home. So that was, I got a lot of time for that club.
Obviously, you said you scored a penalty in the shootout. Are you one of those players that says, "Right, lads, I'm taking a penalty," or are you more like laid back? Unless they need you to take a penalty, will you take the penalty?
No, I'll take a penalty. Yeah, no, I don't. I'll take a penalty and no issues at all. To be fair, no nerves.
Same place every time, or
same place every time, apart from the last one I missed at Farnham because I thought the keeper might have seen my one against Gosport. So for some reason, even if I went the same way and it was the same penalty like I did at Gosport, keeper wouldn't save it. It was in the side netting with pace. And I tried to go down the middle, and I don't know what happened. I didn't even hit it hard, and it's not a whatever they call it. I can't even say it. Panenka. That's it. I always get mixed up there. But it's just lifted up and it's ballooned over the bar, and I'm like, oh no, trying to go down the middle. But yeah, I've got no issues taking a penalty.
Yeah, but I suppose though in that environment, it's that pressure. I mean, you can understand why players wouldn't want to take a pen, right? And then for you, if you are the experienced guy who's taken these pens and scored successfully, if you miss, what's the teammate's reaction? Can never be a positive.
Nah, to be fair, like as long as it's nothing stupid, it doesn't. Like people miss penalties. The best players in the world miss penalties.
Yeah.
Like, it is like. What is it? How much percentage would you say, like in your favour? Probably 70-30, maybe for you in favour. Would it keep them? Three ways you can go, possibly. Yeah. I'm just making numbers up, but so it's like if you do it right and keeper saves it, or you end up missing and you haven't changed what you do, like there can't be any issues from anybody. Do you know what I mean? It happens. Like the forwards, the strikers within game miss chances that you think, why have you not scored? So I don't think there's any issues at all. You probably only have the if it's to win the game or something. You never know. But that's just an emotional thing. I think that can quickly change.
Do you ever feel like in those bigger games that you play that if the fans are a bit more loud or they have a bit more passion, does that carry you and the lads over to kind of win games? Because Thomas Tuchel spoke about it, it's like the atmosphere kind of let down the England players. But do you feel as if you have a better atmosphere, you perform better?
I think it can play a part for sure. Especially when you're here and it's loud and you see, when it's a bit quiet, that little G up that you get. And it also, what it does is it affects the other team as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they can hear everything going on, noise, distractions. We get an extra lift and it normally changes momentum. So, I'd probably agree with that, to be fair. It is good to have a bit of an atmosphere for sure.
When you were back in 2016, 2017 at Maidstone in the National League, what was it like for you? What did the club environment, what was that like? Did it change from the South to the National League?
No.
Stay the same?
No, we stayed the same. We still did Tuesday, Thursday nights. Momentum took us really, like normally when you make that jump, momentum for the first season normally gets you through and over the line. And then from that moment, like I think what's happened, your recruitment needs to be good because you need that experience. Everyone now works out what you play like, who you are as a team, style of play. And as you get up those levels, the better the managers are, the better coaches that you get, better players. So the details there. And I think that's what we struggled with a bit. But nothing changed. Nothing changed, to be fair. Don't fix what isn't broken, they say, right?
Yeah, but what I would say, though, is in the National League, there's some sides that are semi-pro, but most of the sides are professional. So does it give those sides who are semi-pro a bit of a...
Do you know what? But the thing is now, I don't think there's many semi-professional clubs in there.
There's not. No, there's not.
I don't think there is. I don't even know if there is one.
I think they're all properly
They probably
professional.
are. But back then, did it give this...
Back then, there was quite a few. But no, you definitely... I'll tell you what, it definitely showed in the latter part of the game. So you get to 70 minutes, you've working, you're grinding out, and then it gets to 70 minutes. I remember the first game of the season against York, we played on the telly, I scored. And we're 1-0 up from best part of 70, 75 minutes. And just as you get in their full-time outfit, come down because they'd just been relegated from the Football League and we just got promoted. So they put that game on the BT Sport. And, we held our own. I scored early on and then we held out until like the 75th minute. And then the midfielder, I can't remember what his name is. I can't remember. But he scored later on in the game as they sort of wore us down. Because, it's that fitness levels and stuff, it's different from training every day to just training Tuesday, Thursday night. And you've got to think people are coming from a long day at work, so the training is less intense, so you're still not getting enough. Because training 2 times a week sometimes wouldn't be bad, but it's the level of intensity that you train at and what you're doing in it. Do you know what I mean? People manage that. When you think about it, the hybrid teams, they train 3 times. It's only an extra day. Do you know what I mean? Like with good rest period, and if you look after yourself, like 2 nights can be doable, but when people come and they get there like just on time for training, or they're a bit late, or they miss it because work, and then there's less body. Some people are a bit tired, so the intensity is not as high because you might get more risk of getting injured. So then when you go and play on a Saturday, people that are training and they're accustomed to it, and they're Monday, Tuesday off, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with certain types of loads, it's gonna play a big factor on a Saturday in a match day. So I definitely think that back then that's why you're seeing like everybody sort of just evolve into some way of trying to make it work. So if they're not full time, they're pretty much full time. Do you know what I mean? Like 3 days is classed as full time now. I think they call it hybrid. It's 3 times a week.
Do you feel like, I know in the Premier League you still have the fans in the stadium, but in like the lower leagues, the more fans, they're more into you. So when you're like, say you're playing away and the home fans are just hurling abuse, does that kind of affect your game, or do you just? You're one of those ones. So if you score last minute, you're going to give it to the away fans. So you're one of those.
I love it. Man, to be fair, it's humble pie, innit? I normally just have a laugh with them. Like when they say something, I just go along with the banter, and then they might laugh at me. Some of them, I mean, normally it's quite good, but there is a few clubs and some idiots sometimes that are like, will
take it too
far, but doesn't bother me, mate, to be honest. And like, yeah, as I said, if it's that close in the game and it goes that far and you're getting that much old abuse, and when you score late on, then I'll give it back for sure. In a good way, though. It's just always just like something where you just go, what's that? Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, but just laugh it off. But I'm normally quite. To be fair, I've never really had many issues. To be honest, not much. Maybe a couple of times from a former club, but predominantly not many because I never really have had any bad blood with anyone. Do you know what I mean? Never burnt any bridges. So.
Aldershot came up after that, and you were only there for a year. How would you sum up your time there? Because you played 25 times, so you were getting a good run of games.
Yeah, that was a tough season for me, that one, to be fair. That was probably the toughest out of my career because I'd gone from Maidstone to Aldershot full-time again. Gary Waddock, really good manager. I loved him. He was class with when he wanted to sign me and how he did it, how he approached it. He didn't sell me a dream and promise me the world. He interviewed me as to say, how would you deal with the situation of you've been playing well for 3 games, but I rest you for one, rotate it around. And I was like, well, I'd be a bit, disappointed sort of thing. But he was like, that's what we do. Just sort of like all that sort of stuff. So he was really good and full time back on the grass from 3G. So, but yeah, that was a tough season because I started really, really well. I was starting really well, and he even pulled me in and said, "I'll be honest, Bob, I didn't expect you to be as good as what you was." And that was good. That was nice to hear. And I played every game. He didn't take me out, like he said. And then obviously, had a bad injury and done my knee, and then I was out for 3 months, and we didn't have like a 23s or anyone like that where I could get some minutes. It was just thrown straight back in the deep end. So the recovery period was, the rehab to come back in was just like, throw you straight in there. Are you ready? Back in. And it took me a little bit of time to get going. And I think he thought that I was just going to come back to be the same player. But it's never like, some people, if they do, lucky. But normally it probably takes you, a good couple of months before you end up back to what you was like before. Match fitness, match sharpness, intensity, like all of that stuff. Plus getting the confidence of tackles and all that sort of thing. But they don't have time to waste at national and at that level at the time. So like if they didn't think you were going to cut it at that time, then there was no another year for you. So unfortunately,
it's mad. That must be mad though, because it is your job on the line, right?
Yeah. But do you know what? Now in the National League, all National League clubs, I think it's 2-year deals. Like he always back when I was there, like when I signed for Aldershot, that wasn't a thing. It was 1 year. It was only ever 1 year. It might have been a 1 year with a 1 year option, but it might have been the option would have been in the club's favour, not yours. So yeah, it was 1 year, and it's like right, you got 1 year. That's why you could never rest. You've got to make sure that you're playing for the next contract effectively as well. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bit tough because I liked Waddock, and he said to me, before you got injured, he said, I genuinely think we'd have lost you by Christmas. That's how well he thought I was doing. And that was like, right, okay, but you still didn't give me another contract. So, but that is what it is. So, but it was good. It was good. It was good to play under him. He was good. His coaching detail was really good, and he used to come and get a bag of balls and just take me by myself and just fire some into me and tell me to receive on the back foot and break the lines because he said that's where I can see you being effective. And he just got into me. It was good. It was good.
You talk about that, your mental strength, and how it's been important for you. How do you deal with your knee injury during that season? Was it kind of a knockdown? Because obviously the football at the time was your full-time job. So what was it like just to be not playing football for a while?
That was tough. That's why that's probably one of the tough. I would probably say it's my toughest time really because I've never suffered with injuries really, like touch wood. Not to that extent. I mean, I've had some small hamstring injuries, ankle, rolled ankle, and all that sort of stuff. But 3 months out is to not play football was something that you love to do all the time and just sit there knowing that you can't do anything. I had to have an MRI, being a knee brace, could only go so far, couldn't bend it that far. It was, that was real tough, but the mental strength is you work hard to try and get, because I was hoping that I would have actually come back quicker than what I was, but obviously, you're always going to be optimistic. And I thought, I'm young still, I'll be fine. So knowing that weren't the case was tough when it was like, nah, I reckon, I'm like, what do you reckon? Only 2 months, maybe only, like, I don't know, a month and a half? No, minimum 3 months, and you've got to get your rehab back in, you've got to return to play. And it was like, right, so you're talking 4 months in, and that's almost like half the season. It's like, well, what do you mean? So, but it weren't, I did have a quicker recovery, but it was only by, cut short by a couple of weeks. But that was really tough, mate, because I love playing football. So when you're injured, sitting on the sideline, even if I'm out for 1 week and miss one game, I'm like sitting there just like, I look like I could be well effective in this game.
I think that's one of those things you see on the there's someone not on the wing. You just be like, that could be me. Just make that run.
Like, I think I could do a shift for Liverpool. Do you know
Yeah, that's it. I'm literally there like, do you know what? If I played in this team, we'd be 4-0 up. I would have cut inside then and wrapped it in the bin. But no, it is frustrating. But, if you went through your career with no injuries, then Jesus Christ, fair play.
Yeah, I think.
You're probably going to break records, mate, with how many appearances you have. You know what I mean? So
Bromley came up next in 2018, and again, I think you were struggling to find your home. Is that right? Because you were only there for just under a year.
I just spent 1 year at clubs at the time. 1 year, 1.5 years. Yeah, it wasn't nice, to be fair, because I'd spent 4 years at Cambridge, but I just couldn't settle anywhere. And there was always a reason for it not happening. And Maidstone was getting a chance to play full-time football. It was a no-brainer, and they couldn't financially offer me what Aldershot could have at the time, and I was going to be training full-time at a club that's had a history and been in the football league. So that was that reason. From there, obviously, I didn't get another contract there, so then I had to find another club. Then it was Bromley, and then when we go further down the line from Bromley, it was to the next one, and the next one to the next one. But they all had reasons. So that was Aldershot. Then I went to Bromley, struggling to find a home at the time. Gone to Bromley, who I was originally going to sign for before Aldershot. Had to ring Neil Smith at the time to let him know that I've decided I'm going to go a bit more out of my comfort zone. I'm moving to Camberley, and I'm going to sign for Aldershot. And he was a bit gutted about it, but sort of understood. And then obviously when I didn't sign a new contract or get let go, or agreement was that there weren't going to be another contract for me at Aldershot, he got in touch, and I went there. And I was thinking, all right, perfect. But I feel like it was just we just get him in and he could just rot away kind of thing, because I come in and I was doing really well, and first game of the season came and I didn't play. And I was like, right, that's interesting, because I'd done really well in pre-season, and then next game I played but came off at half-time. I think it was away at Fylde. Yeah, and then after that I didn't play. I might have come on and then I wasn't coming on, and people were injured, and I was like, what is going on? And then he tried to get me to go out and loan to a league below, and I was like, no, I'm not having this. So luckily I said no, and then that's obviously when I signed for Dover, where I got a text from Nicky Southall, and he said to me, do you fancy coming down to Dover, closer to home? And I went, absolutely. And they were they were in the bottom 4, 15 games had been played, 7 points. Looked like they were going to go down. He brought in 4 or 5 players that he knew would help him, and we finished mid-table, just above in the top half of mid-table. Unreal.
You spoke about that time at Dover. You got a call from the gaffer, and there was a bit of a crisis. Was you kind of proud that the gaffer called you up in the time of crisis? Does that kind of boost you mentally because the gaffer calls you in a time of need? Yeah.
So, I was almost getting pushed to go out and loan to Dartford, and I nearly went, because I was like, I'm just going to go and play. Like, that was like on the verge of happening, but I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I've been playing, Football League, National League. Like, I shouldn't go. And then they were struggling there. Hess ended up taking a job over, and Nicky Southall then texted me and asked me, because obviously, Hess knows me as a person, so he wanted to bring in characters that he knew he could trust. So he was like, do you fancy it? It was only 20 minutes 25 minutes the other direction, close to home, near me. I knew Hess already, so I knew what I was going to be going into. I knew I was going to play, most importantly. That was the key, right, playing. Knew Nicky Southall, Trigger as well, from Gillingham, Darren Hare, so I knew the staff that were there. And I knew some of the players that he was taking to Dover as well. So, yeah, why not? Let's have a crack. I was like, I'm well up for that.
Nothing to lose, really.
I'll tell you what, that was class. That was class before COVID hit. that weren't class.
Well, I was going to mention Ebbsfleet came in, and that was during COVID, and we all know the Premier League carried on somewhere down the line, but then the lower leagues stopped. For you in that season, again, I suppose it is that contract thing in the back of your mind, thinking, well, if the season's going to end, season's going to end here, what's going to happen with my contract and my deal? Am I going to keep playing? It was all up in the air, right?
I don't know. It was weird. I mean, in all fairness, I signed. What did I sign? No, I signed. I left during the COVID season from Dover because, there's altercation, whatever it was with the chairman. I'm not going to speak about because I'm not going to speak bad about anyone. But we've got our reasons, and most people that when I was there will know why we ended up going our separate ways. And Hess was so good; he understood. He didn't want it to happen, but he was like, I completely get what you're doing, and fine. I signed for Ebbsfleet, and then I only signed a year. And that was during the COVID. We were playing at the time, and we didn't know what was happening. We kind of did, but we was like being optimistic that
it's changing all the time, right?
So we were like, we might end up going through this, and we continue it. But at the time, we don't know. And a lot of people at the clubs financially were trying to just not play the league. They didn't want to. So there was a few of us that did because financially could get through, but. Yeah, that was a horrible time, but I was lucky we were still able to go and train and stuff, even though all the restrictions were in place, so it weren't just being stuck indoors. That was nice. Do you know what I mean? And then, and it was just before they stopped the season for the league continuing. We played against Hungerford at home. And we had 10 men. We had 10 men, and I had an unbelievable game. To be fair, I was a joke with 10 men, and I single-handedly helped us win the game. And Mark was watching the game. He was watching the game from Dorking. He was watching that game, and when I've spoken to him, he's gone like, "Who is this player? Who is this?" Jamie Hara as well. Who's this? He needs to sign for us. We need to sign him. I got people that I knew sort of because obviously you can't bring me and say it's against the laws, I think. So he wasn't allowed to message me or whatever, but through people that we know and stuff like that would ring me and just sort of said how would you feel about signing for Dorking? And I said to Ebbsfleet about giving me a 2-year contract after this, and they were humming and hawing about doing it, and then obviously I think must have caught wind that Dorking wanted me, and then late on, but by this point I'd agreed to sign at Dorking for 2 years. They then said that they'd give me the 2 years, but it was too late because I'd already committed to Dorking. So, that's ultimately where I got to find a home a little bit for 4 years at Dorking. But Ebbsfleet was short-winded, to be fair, because of the COVID season. I actually really enjoyed it there. Under Dennis Kuchar, a German manager, he played a good style of football. He loved me. Tried to learn a little bit of German. I wasn't very good at it in the process. That was short-winded. And I didn't really get to engage with any fans, to be fair, because they weren't allowed in the ground. So, no issues with that. And then obviously Dorking for 4 years, where is a home still. Obviously with me now coaching there as well, doing the under-19s and the youth section. So. That's how that unfolded.
Obviously, you talk about Dorking, and we all know Marc White's the manager. He's quite this big social media presence. What's it actually like behind the scenes? Is he a good man and manager, or is he full of cameras, or is he just quiet? What is he like?
Mark. Me and Mark. Mark's he's an unbelievable guy. He's somebody that I get along with really, really, really well outside of football. On the pitch, there's always a little bit of differences between us. There always was. If you watch Sponsorship Amateurs or you've seen anything like that, you will see. But his passion for football and Dorking, the football club, doesn't go unnoticed. He's so invested and committed to what he wants to do, and he always looks after you. No matter what, once you're part of the club, you're almost part of his family. He's always been good like that, I must admit. He never lets you down in that aspect. And the football side of things. Mark knows his football really, really well. He does. In all credit to him, and he's got an identity. He's got a style of play that everyone sees. You know what he's like, and what you see is what he's like. Genuinely, you couldn't put it any other way. when you see him, what's he like? But when you get to know him a bit more on that side of things, he's a really good guy. When you get to know him, and he loves a bit of banter, and he plays up to the crowd. Yeah, he's. But yeah, no. In the football side of things, you know, over the years, we've had our differences at times, and I think that's just because I'm a bit of a maverick in terms of, like, you know, playing the games. You see it as such. Probably more. He doesn't mind it, but too much for his liking in terms of what he wants you to do. So that's sort of where we had that little bit of difference, and why sometimes I didn't play, or towards the end I weren't playing as much, because it's a bit of a trust thing with Marc. Marc's massive on trust. Can he trust you as a player? And obviously he didn't have that in me at times. Not to say that he didn't think that I was a good player, and you know, he said it many times, and he always jokes at the moment, keeps saying that he's going to get me to come back because, you know, maybe I made a mistake and da-da-da-da-da. But it was literally down to, like, I don't know if I could trust Bob in moments of what, you know, it's what it is. But obviously for me, I wanted to play football, you know, at the end of the day, and just get the enjoyment and the love back. But yeah, no, but I still see Marc on a daily basis. You know, I've been to behind closed doors friendlies that he's had with the first team and be part of the management team. You know, to be fair with Marc, because some of my youngsters or our youngsters, the academy, we put forward. You know, so I get to go and see them, and I'm developing them obviously on a daily basis. So, yeah, me and Marc get along really well. He's a friend.
Jack Saunders is actually coming in a couple of weeks. Do you know Jack?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he, yeah?
Yeah, so he's going to come in, speak about his career at Dorking. So for him, I know he's one of the younger players in Dorking. So what's it been like to work with him, alongside him?
Yeah, I worked with Jack for a season. In fact, he actually asked me if I was in today to do a session with him in the morning. But I said I can't because I'm doing a podcast. So, and he didn't know. He just said enjoy the podcast. But
you should tell him.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. He's Jack's a good lad. He's a very good lad.
Yeah.
Bags of potential, very invested. And I've been lucky enough to work with him, and he got his bit of his break. He's been given a deal. He's very much a good character. You know, he knows himself, like what he wants, and he's done that. You know, within the club, you know, contract wise and things like that. You know, he stands up for himself, and he's got that little bit of nous about him, an aggressive player. You know, so yeah, no, and as I said, I worked with Jack, and I've played with him. So I've got a lot of time for Jack. I talk to him quite a lot. You know, if he needs anything still now, I'll give him a bit of any advice. If he wants an extra session here and there, he can always ask me. And I love that level of commitment for him, and I think he's got a good chance for sure. I know he's on loan at the moment. They've got a new manager in. I don't know how that's going to unfold for him, but it was important. It's important that he's playing, because we need that for his development. That's always the key. But I'm excited for Jack, and I think, yeah, as I said, he will definitely have a career in football for sure. Whatever league, whether that's non-league or whether that's maybe going the next step. He's still young. Got a good future.
And obviously, one of the stand-up things during your time at Dorking was the National League South playoff final against Everfleet, which you won. And then was there I think with players when they've gone to clubs and they've beaten them, but this was such a big occasion for the club because it was their first ever promotion to the National. Did you feel a bit of an emotional connection, like a bit upset because you beat Everfleet, or was you like, nah, I don't really care about you, let's go up?
That was mental. Can you imagine? I've left Ebbsfleet to sign for Dorking, and then we play them in the player final. And I'm like, and they went 1-0 up, and I'm like, oh my God, no way, this is going to be the worst decision ever. So when Moro scored that late, and then the Liberties, from that moment, you just know. And we didn't even go up and won it in extra time. But that was some day. Like, you can imagine, like, this is the Liberties that you're talking. And by the way, both player finals that I was in with Maidstone and with Dorking, we're 2-1 down from 2 Kedwell penalties for Ebbsfleet, by the way. So we played Maidstone and Ebbsfleet in the final at Ebbsfleet, at Stonebridge. Kedwell scores penalty in normal time. I score in normal time. It goes to extra time. Ked scores another penalty, 2-1, and then we score last minute scenes. Dumbi Damaka scores, right, to take us to penalties. So, like, that is scenes there, and then you go to Dorking against Ebbsfleet, and we are literally that last chance of the whistle gets blown and Moro scores. Like Baz loads it in. I think Alfie wins the header back down. Moro runs in at the back post. Last minute scenes to go to extra time, and then we win extra time. It's like, if you was told, like, you will definitely go up through the playoffs, and there's going to be some things that happen within it, eventful things that happen in the playoffs, that's going to be like, make you feel so good. You snap someone's hand off as to opposed to just winning the league and just like pissing it and going, yeah, we won by 10 points clear, like, thanks very much. It's a good feeling, but to play in the playoff, have like packed out fans because everyone's there, because everyone wants their team to go up, having moments where you go behind, go in front, red cards happen, you have to see the game out, you score late minute limbs, you know what I mean? Someone gets a worldie. All of these moments are what you live for. Same with the cup runs and things like that. It's just, yeah. So no, that was, it's another in the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's another in the moment feeling. It was like, forgot about that I'd been at Ebbsfleet and we just celebrated like no tomorrow. Unreal. So
you're currently at Farnham Town, and speaking about cup runs, you're on a bit of one right now.
Yeah. So we are, obviously, the draws today, 6:30, I think. So we're in the hat.
Who's the potential sides? Is it League Two?
All League One. Up to League One.
Oh, wow.
So you could get like Leighton Orient,
Jack
Reading,
Wimbledon,
Colchester.
Cardiff away would be lovely, wouldn't it? Imagine that.
Imagine that would be good.
But massive.
Wimbledon away would be good.
Wouldn't you like it at home, though?
I think everyone prefers it at home, let's be honest.
No, but I think for the players they want it away, but for the club they want it at home.
I think depends on who you're drawn to. So if it's like, for example, if you were drawn against Cardiff, you want it away because there's no replay no more. When you get to the first round, it's literally, if we draw, you don't get replay at Cardiff's ground, you play penalties there and then.
Yeah.
So if you had Cardiff, you're going to Cardiff that's got I don't know what they must hold, like 25, 30,000, whatever, bigger than that.
Yeah.
Right? And you're talking for the club, because most clubs like that stature, you go to Cardiff away, you're probably almost guaranteed from step 3 to Cardiff to be on TV. You'll be the TV game. So the club makes money on that. You're probably going to get all the gate money, because Cardiff normally they would go like, you got a step 3 club, like you can have, that's what normally happens. That's why when you get these good cup runs, that's what happens. So, but if you're playing, you know, like for example, and there's no disrespect to Colchester, because they're a fantastic club, but I don't think they get many fans in. I think they only get 3,000 fans maybe. So, you know, you'll probably want to play them at home, because then you even though you're full-time, you still fancy like a bit of a good atmosphere. Maybe like, you know, they'll come and think, oh, we're turning up to Farnham, so then we'll give them we'll always have 10% more. That's what the FA Cup does for the lower league clubs, right? But yeah, we're on a run. Obviously, created history for the club. Obviously, this is the furthest they've ever got. Well, the last round was, and then now we're even further than that. It was a good draw for us, for the club. That's a good draw. Home to Sutton, who we still would fancy our chances, I think, against any National League club. I'm not going to lie. I think we've got a really good team. We've got some fantastic young players, like massively. We've got a lot of experience. We've got players that could play the higher levels but don't want to because they work. So it's a good side. It's a good side. So, like, you know, it's not like we ain't no mugs. You know, it's not one of those where you just think, oh yeah, that's all right, we're playing a step 3 club. Like we've got some good players in our team. So, you know, getting drawn against Sutton, it's like, right, we're at home. They'll bring a good crowd. To be fair, it'll be a sellout. You know, give it a go. They're not in great. I know they've got a new manager, Chris Agata. Obviously, he's a fantastic manager, really, really good coach. As far as I'm aware, and I've played, you know, against some of his teams, and I know people that have played under him, and you know, they will be good once he gets them clicking. I think they're going to be a very good side with the style of play that he plays and the identity. It worked at Worthing, and you know, so you know, but it's a good time to play. It was a good time to play him. You know, we're sort of like we're in the momentum at the moment where we haven't lost a game yet in all competitions. So you know, there's a fight and character in there, even when we've been from behind, to always never give up attitude. All the boys are class. You know, we're good, tight-knit groups, like family. It's almost like being, for me as well, the switch from going to Dorking to Farnham's just been the same. You know, changeovers being the same environment, the same people, lovely club, great owner, good managers, good staff, and it's just a nice place to be. So everyone just buzzes to be there and loves. Just, you know, it's just that's what enjoyment is, right? So, and then you got Sutton on the flip side at the minute that are struggling, got a new manager, trying to embed that in. So it was like, this is a good tie for us. It's a good tie, and then obviously the heartache. You know, I think Sutton were good in the first half. Like they were good for the first half. Obviously, we started really well. Probably should have been 2-0 up in 5 minutes. Literally, Owen Dean, who was fantastic all game, 21 years old as well. What a player. Should probably tuck that away, but it's a fantastic save. They then score a set piece, sloppy goal to give it away. And that's it, 1-0 to the half. Sutton have been the better side, probably, just about. Second half, I thought we were a different animal. We were good. And then obviously, we scored 2 goals. It was we went 2-1 up, 2-2, 3-2 up, and then at the death with 50 seconds to go. And it was actually 2 minutes more than what the added time was with an injury. But it's just game management. Just foul someone wherever you are, mate. Let them load it in the box. You know what I mean? But they play a bit of wing playing. But listen, it is what it is. It's another game tomorrow night. Obviously,
it's on TV.
Won't be on TV. I don't think so. No.
That's a shame.
Paul from the BBC.
BBC.
Yeah, but it'd be good.
FA Cup day.
Where is what is that? Is it Ganders Lane?
Ganders.
Is it Ganders Lane?
What's it called?
Gander Green Lane. How good is that from me, by the way? Football knowledge. Played it before. But no, lovely grass pitch though, and it's big. It's a big pitch, so it's like with the way we play, or like how we are very much off the cuff, but we're not afraid to leave bodies up, mate. So the turnovers are so important. But good cup run, and I've not had a cup run because Dorking at 4 years. Obviously, we can't get past the 4th qualifying round. Even they lost to Aldershot, still the curse of the qualifying round to get to the first round. So I've not had a cup run for 4 years. So it'd be so nice, but it's going to be a completely different game tomorrow. Like, I'm sure of it. I'm not stupid. They'll be at home. Chris is a good coach. I'm sure he'll probably find a way of maybe setting up a little bit differently. That is the difference. But we'll go and enjoy it, and we'll give it 100%. We'll give it a good go. That's for sure. I'm sure it'll be another good game. Sure.
You're quite doing well in the league. You're 4th in the league. Do you think you and the boys can get promoted? Is that the aim at the end of the season, to get promoted? Or?
Yeah, I think there's no sugarcoating it. I think we all know what we want. Normally, I say within the dressing room, but I think it's clear with what Harry Hugo's done with the club and the investments he's put in to attract the players that he has on top of what he's already got. The drive and I think that was one of the reasons why I came as well. I wouldn't go to a club for the sake of it. It's a club that's on the up. It's a club you can call home. Excuse me. And we're just mate. It's good. It's good. It's a good place to be. I definitely think we'll be up there. I think we'll be up there. I'm not going to say we're going to win the league because you never know in football. I think we'll definitely be in and around it. We've definitely got the players to do that. But obviously the goal will be to win the league, but ultimately as well also just to get promoted.
As we mentioned previously and before we started this podcast, Harry Cooksley's obviously one of the figureheads in the team. And the last time you spoke to me, you said that you were going to have a stern word with him, with the boys, about his Love Island performance. How do you think it went?
I haven't spoke to him about it, to be fair, because we haven't. We've got a fines list, and you're not allowed to talk to Harry about Love Island unless he talks to you.
Oh my!
Yeah.
What?
So no questions are allowed. Obviously, it's a fine. So unless you really want to know, then obviously you pay the price. But a lot of the Love Island cast were there yesterday. Not yesterday, Saturday at the game. Cash, Tony, Harrison, Giorgio were all there at the game. And I know Giorgio because we used to play at Kent together, so I already know him. It's good to see him. But they came down, and then obviously at training on Wednesday night, Cooks turns up. And he brings Shakira to training, which is funny. It was like, right, that's a fine, Cooks. That's a fine. Bringing your missus to training, that's not allowed. But yeah, no. So like, we've seen them all, but they're all good. They're all sound as a pound. To be fair, they're good people as well. So they get along with all of us.
They're going to go tomorrow?
Don't know. I couldn't tell you, but obviously there's a lot going on for a lot of them. So.
Yeah, must be weird coming out of that place.
Yeah.
A final one for me is, if there was any footballer, past or present, who do you want to play for? Like, who do you want to play with? Like, any footballer. You obviously talked about your love for Gerrard. So who would it be? Gerrard, or would it be the Chelsea player, or just anyone in general?
Gerrard, maybe Gerrard, or if it could be past and present. Past, I'd probably say Gerrard, Lamps. Present, it's a shame actually because he's not even. He should still be playing if he gets fit. But I would have said Hazard.
I thought you were going to say that. I saw him the other day.
Yeah, but
He's all right.
mate, if he got himself fit, anyone would take that. He's so good, mate. He was so good. But obviously, oh no! What an idiot! How could I ever present Messi without a shadow of a doubt? If I could play with the GOAT, but if you're talking like Premier, no, but like, I mean, yeah, Hazard was good as well. But if I could play with past, you're talking, you know, just the people that I like to watch when I'm growing up. I mean, there were some really good past players that I would love to play. I would love to play if I could, obviously. But Gerrard and Lamps, because watching them and being that, you know, that kind of fan about those would be the past. Present would be Messi all day long.
I think we could talk to you for days about your career, but the last thing that I wanted to ask is we spoke to Chris Moore, the Hanwell Town manager, and he said that you were Farnham's best player. What do you make about that?
Who's that?
Chris Moore, manager of Hanwell Town. They're in your division.
We were meant to play them Tuesday, but now we're playing Sutton. When did you speak to him?
Last week.
Last week, actually.
Oh, was he on here? Was he?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said, Bobby Joe Taylor is the best in Farnham's team.
That's very kind, yeah. No, I appreciate. Obviously, I appreciate it. It's always nice to hear, and I mean, there's a few interviews that have gone out from other managers. A lot of managers in the league have sort of said, like, you know, Farnham's going to be a good club when you attract players like myself, when they say that, and you know, Brandon and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a club that are going to be good, and yeah, like it's obviously nice to hear that. But you know, that's just people's opinions. I'm a humble guy. Like, I love it. I love to. It's really nice. It's really nice to hear. But we got a fantastic group of players, and we got some really good youngsters that I think we'll probably see go on to have a real good career. To be fair, Owen Dean, Jack Dean, the Dean brothers. I can't believe that somebody hasn't picked them up already. They're far too superior for the league. They're both young athletes. They're good, very good players. Matt McKenzie, come from Hanwell Town. I don't know if he mentioned him.
Matt McKenzie's gone there. He's brilliant. After a couple of games, he's amazing.
He is off the ball. He is the best. One of the best I played with. His anticipation to regains, and he had the best stats in that division last year.
100%. You see a couple of games.
Just got to get a bit better on the balls, composure, and stuff like that. This is me talking in a coach head, by the way. So yeah, he's another good one as part of our young players in that list. Sam Evans, great size, 23, big, powerful centre forward. So, yeah, I think we've got some good players in there. It's not me.
No, come on.
I'm just the experienced head that's come in, that's played at a good level. I've been lucky enough to be a pro most of my career, but now, you know, we're all at step 3 and we're all in the same place for the same reason. So, you know, I'm not better than anybody else. It's all part of the team, but I do love to be able to contribute. You know, 2 assists the other day at Sutton. That's always nice against Sutton. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's just enjoyment. That's what enjoyment looks like.
Yeah.
When you enjoy football, that's what happens. You play well. You enjoy playing. It makes you better. You know. So happy there, mate. Really happy there.
Oliver, well, thank you very much. We
Thanks
always end
for having me.
We always
Thank
end
you
the
for having me,
podcast
Joe.
with a
Been an amazing
handshake.
episode.
Of course it has. So we bring it with a handshake. Thank you very much.
I really appreciate.
Oliver.
Also, really appreciate you bringing me in, guys. It's a good thing that you got here. So.